What's good, everybody? I'm BPC, and welcome to Competitive Origins MMA. Well, Marvin the Italian Dream Vettori faced off against Kevin Trailblazer Holland at UFC Vegas 23 at the UFC Apex, which was actually the second card on the ABC network. Now, Kevin, as we know, took this fight on short notice because he wanted to get back into winner's circle after losing via unanimous decision against Derek Brunson just 3 weeks ago. Marvin, on the other hand, wanted to get another crack at Israel, the last stylebender Adesanya, who happens to be the UFC's middleweight champion, and he wants to fight him next to take the crown from him. Now, round number one started, and Kevin Holland looked pretty focused. He looked very quick, and he was mixing up with punches and kicks. Unfortunately, one of those kicks was just a little bit too low, and Marvin Vettori definitely felt the pain. Now, Marvin only took about a minute to recover, and Kevin, as you can see, was apologetic about the whole situation. He even apologized to the coach. Now, when the fight did continue, Marvin realized he did not want to strike with Kevin, and therefore he started trying to utilize the takedown. Now, my guess is that he probably practiced, working on the takedown, because he was going to face Darren Till previously, who was also a very good striker. Now, like I said, he struggled with the takedown at first, but eventually he was able to get him down. Now, Kevin Holland actually did a really nice reverse move where he was able to flip out of it, get back on his feet, but he did get taken down to the ground. Now, when he did get up, Marvin did land a really good strike, but Kevin seemed pretty unfazed about it. But as round number one goes, I did rule it in favor of Kevin Holland. I did see Kevin landing the more significant blows, in regards to who landed the better shots. He was taken down, but nothing significant was done while they're on the ground, at least in my opinion, to overshadow what was done on the feet. Now, round number two began, and Kevin started out good on the feet again. But Marvin obviously did not want any of it, and he took Kevin down to the ground. He landed some good shots, and Kevin was able to get up. When the round finally ended, though, you could see that Kevin's eye was actually pretty swollen. Before they started the third round, they brought the doctor in, and the doctor looked at the eye, and he asked Kevin on 2 separate occasions, "Can you see out of the eye?" And Kevin kept saying, "What do you mean?" And then Herb jumped in and stated, "Hey, can you see?" And Kevin Holland replied back, "I can see you." So he did not lie about not being able to see out his left eye, but he basically avoided the question and gave an answer where he was still being truthful at the end of the day. Now, commentator DC did state that he did hear Kevin say that he could not see out of his eye. So I guess round number 3, Kevin starting out with just one eye. And you could see there was a difference in Kevin's body language. He was less aggressive. And this, I believe, allowed Marvin to get the takedown very quickly. Now, Marvin tried to go for an arm triangle. And this is where DC and Dominic Cruz both felt that the fight was over. Now, considering when I watched the Derek Brunson fight against Kevin Holland, he had him in a position to submit him, and Kevin looked really comfortable and was able to withstand the submission, and then for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then eventually, got out of it. So I was looking at it here, I think Kevin would try a little bit harder if he was in any danger. It seemed like he did what he needed to do in order to avoid being tapped, and that's exactly what he did. Now they got up, he got taken back down, he got up, and Kevin actually looked pretty active again. He looked recharged, he looked ready to go. He was very aggressive. He started putting pressure on Marvin Vettori. Unfortunately, the round was coming quick to a close, and it did. But he did lay some good shots, and he was looking good. It looked like he was rejuvenated. This is the Kevin we wanted to see. Now, in round number 4, Marvin, caught Kevin. And then Kevin basically started to unload with several strikes, and Marvin realized he wanted nothing to do with this and took Kevin back down to the ground. And that's pretty much how most of it went. Now, rounds 2, 3, and 4, I scored it all for Marvin. As round number 5 took place, they came out and Kevin landed some good shots and Marvin took him down to the ground. And it was at this time that Marvin, scored his 11th takedown, which actually set a UFC middleweight record. Now, unfortunately, that was all she wrote. Kevin, wasn't able to do much, in regards to that round by any means. He did try to hit him, he did try to clap him, try to punch from the bottom, but he was only able to do so much. Now, what I thought was also pretty interesting about this fight was that Marvin Vettori actually, I believe, set the record for most control time in a middleweight fight. So he surpassed Chael Sonnen over Anderson Silva, even though Anderson Silva did win that fight. Unfortunately, Kevin Holland did not win this fight, as the judges ruled it in favor of Marvin, the Italian Dream Vettori, by unanimous decision. They gave him 5 rounds to 0, and I was kind of like, all right, they should have gave Kevin the first round, but it is what it is at the end of the day. And they even scored it a 10-8 round in one of the rounds for Marvin. So it was 50-44, I believe, across all the scorecards. Now, in regards to what's next for these guys, well, Kevin, somebody actually stated online that Kevin needs to go to Dagestan for 9 months. And Kevin actually replied back to that, stating he was already hopping on a plane to go to Dagestan for 9 weeks. So I guess he's not interested in doing 9 months, but obviously Kevin took it with he has a sense of humor and he played along with it. Now, in regards to Marvin Vettori, though, he did state he wants to face off against Israel, the last stylebender Adesanya, in October. And I actually have another video coming up right after this where we're going to talk about where, Marvin Vettori should go next. So be sure to tune into that. Go into the comment section, though, and let me know what you guys think about this fight. Did you find it entertaining? Did you find it boring? Give me your opinions on how you saw it going. And, where do you see these fighters going next? Kevin Holland is on a 2-fight losing streak. As it states, recently, fighters that end up losing 3 straight fights are typically cut as of lately. Not saying this is going to apply to Kevin Holland, but do you think he's on that cusp of being let go, or do you think the UFC will have leniency on him, considering that, he's fighting, guys that are much higher ranked than him, and he's taking these fights on short notice, and he's been a company man at the end of the day, showing up when they need him to be. So let me know what you guys think about that. And, as far as Marvin Vettori, do you think he's getting the title shot next? He's been calling for it. He's been wanting it, and we're going to see if he has a good case in the next video. So be sure to check it out. Hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and I'm actually going to put a link in the description below so you guys can actually check out the whole reason how this fight even came together if you're interested and you didn't even know. Other than that, guys, go to competitiveorigins.com, type in promo code MMA124 so you can get this Competitive Origins no matter what t-shirt. Thank you for tuning in today, guys. I'm BPC, and remember, you've been competing since conception. Whether you're competing against yourself or others, Competitive Origins.